Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My dear sisters, hope all of you are doing well. Inshallah, today we'll continue taking the special parts we have in the tongue. We are still in the tip of the tongue before we took the letter Ra and the letter Noon, and both came from the tip as we see here. And now we are still on the tip of the tongue, but this time we are using the top of the tongue, and here we want to differentiate when we use the bottom of the tongue and when we use the top of the tongue. Here, in case of the letters we are taking today, inshallah, we are using the top of the tongue, for the letters ta, dal, and ta. So those letters are articulated by meeting the top of the tongue with the gum of the top two teeth. So here we put the tongue, and this is, we should do a differentiate between the word head, because head we will take it with the letters coming next, which is going to be the sin, the sad, the zai. Those letters we produce from the head, so we don't prefer to use the word head here when we are talking about the letters ta, dal, and ta. We are using the expression top, the top of the tongue, not the head, okay? Because this will be mixing with the letters coming from the head of the tongue, which are the sad, the zay, and the sin, which we find it this way in the Arabic tajweed books. So not to confuse you, we call those letters the ta, the dal, and the ta. Those letters we produce from the top of the tongue meeting the gum of the top two teeth, ta, dal, and ta. So how can we differentiate between those three letters if they are all coming from the same place? For sure we can see that the ta is the only heavy letter, and here we have to raise the tongue from the back first before we produce the letter ta, and this is very important step many students they don't care about, which is to do first before you put your tongue in the tip of the tongue in the gum of the upper teeth, as you mentioned, which is to raise your tongue first from the back. So the first step is to raise the tongue first. And here with the ta we have adhesion between the tongue and the upper part of the mouth, which we call in Arabic al-itbaq. So we have to do first al-itbaq. This adhesion we have to do first, and then put the tip of the tongue in this place. Up. So we have to do this first. Okay. Ta, ti, tu, at. So here first the tongue is lifted to give this adhesion, and then we do put the tip of the tongue, the top of the tip, in the gum of the upper teeth, as I told you. Okay. Now, here we have some problems arising. The students are mixing sometimes between the letters, the dal and the jim. Maybe they say G instead of D. So why? Remember when we took the jim before, we used, what did we use? It was the middle part of the tongue, remember? But here in case of the dal, we are just using the top of the tip. So if you did use the middle part of the tongue while you producing the dal, this mixing will arise and you will produce dal mixed with jim, and this is not correct. Not correct. The problems with some people say sheen instead of ta. So they mix the ta with sheen, and this is generally known with case of the kesra. She may say chi. She's not saying ti, but she's saying chi. While she's doing that, also again she's using her middle part of the tongue. While she should use only the tip, as I told you. Also, some people may do mix the ta with the sin, and they do this like that way. Why? Here in this case, the student is putting the tongue down to be closer to the lower teeth, which is the place of the sin. Here, your tongue should be only on the gum of the upper teeth. It should not go down after that to meet the lower teeth, because if you did that, you will be mixing the ta with the sin sound. Those mistakes are very common, very common. You have to take care about and show your student what exactly the part you should put from your tongue in the gum of the upper teeth. It is only the head of the tongue, the top of the tongue, the top of the tip of the tongue, exactly. So this is where we produce the three letters ta, dal, and ta. What are the common mistakes we may face with those three letters? Let's see here. Let's start with the letter ta. Here maybe the student is doing ta as light, while it should be heavy, as we see. And as I told you, the adhesion should be done, which is called al-idbaq. And inshallah we explain more about when we talk about the qualities of the letters. But for now, we should keep the ta heavy for sure. And you have to take care, especially in case if it is having kesra. طباقة, not say طباقة, T, but should keep the heaviness of the ta, even in case of kesra. If it is repeated or doubled, like for example, shatata, you have to clarify it. And if it is followed by ta, this is the ruling we took before, which we call the partial idgham. You are not merging the ta completely in the ta, but we merge it partially. We keep the itbaq, which is the adhesion, and then we go to pronounce the ta. Basat, ta. Ahad, tu. So I do the itbaq, and then I end the sound with the ta. That is what's related to the letter ta. How about the letter dal? Many, as I told you, the mix between the dal, like we did mix between the ta and the sheen and like that, they do mix between the ta and the dal. She may say maliki yawmittin, not deen. So what's the main difference between the ta and the dal? For sure it is the running of the breath with the ta, yeah, which is not found with the dal, yeah. And in that case we have to take care that there is an air we produce with the ta, while the dal we should not produce air at all. Okay, so what else we should learn about the dal? You should merge it into the ta. If the ta is following the, like for example, قد تبين, we say قد تبين. So the dal is merged into the ta. If it is sakina, I have to show the qalqala. قد نرى بالعدل القدر. And this is a very common mistake in Surah Al-Qadr. Many others just saying Al-Qadr. No, you have to tell them, you have to apply the qalqala. Al-Qadr, Qadr. You have to do clarified if it is repeated. Yartadid, did. So both should be clear. If it is preceded by a heavy letter, so you have to keep its lightness because the dal is not of the heavy letters. So you should not say, for example, sudur. No, it's not bad. You should say sudur, dur. So you have to keep it light. The last letter is the letter ta. What are the common mistakes for this letter? Here, the common mistakes that some people may do add sin to the ta. And as I told you, we already dealt with this. We are not putting the tongue down, because if you put it down, it will be going to the sin place, while it should be only put on the roots, or we can say the gum line of the upper two teeth. So that's why it will be mixed with sin in some cases. And you have to keep, for sure, the ta should be kept as light. Don't say أفتطمعون. Well, it should be أفتطمعون. Also take care about it if it is followed by another ta or dal, so it will be merged into it. Or also if it is followed by ta, it will be merged into it. For example, قالت طائفة, you are going to say قالت طائفة. أثقلت دعوة, you are going to say أثقلت دعوة. ربحت تجارتهم, you merge it to be ربحت تجارتهم, and we already explained that in the previous level, which is the lesson, the two close, the two alike, the two similar letters. Remember this lesson? So the ta is merged with those letters because they are all coming from the same articulation point. And you have to take care about if the ta is having kesra or not, to add the hams to it or the air to it. And here You don't add the hams in case of the vowels because the vowels are kind of a part of the mad letters. So, the mad letters are not having any air. Yeah? And you should not do a samawati or a samawati t. No, it should be d, d, d. And to prevent the production of the air in case of the vowels added to the ta. That's everything about the three letters ta, dal, and ta. I hope it is clear, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair.